Hey there, dirt bike people. I'm Chuck from TrueTech, and today I'm going to answer one of the most commonly asked questions that I get. I'm here at the shop early on a Saturday morning, and we're going to do some experiments. The question is, do you ever freeze the components while doing a bottom end? And the answer is no. I may change my mind today, but I kind of doubt it. My current reason for not freezing components is, number one, the most important is I don't have time for that. It's just a hassle that I don't want to deal with. The second reason is that my understanding is that when you heat things, you can get a couple of thou out of it, and when you freeze them, you barely get a few tenths. Now, I have not confirmed that, so that is what we're going to test today. So on the bench here, I have a whole bunch of bearings and a few pieces of aluminum, so I'm going to measure them all at room temperature. It's about 16 degrees Celsius in the shop here, and then I'm going to put half the components outside, and half the components I'm going to heat to 200 Fahrenheit, and then we're going to remeasure, and we're going to see what we get. My hypothesis is that my current understanding of it is correct, that we're going to get more difference out of heating the components than freezing them. All right, I've got everything set up here. And like I say, these bearings have all been sitting in my shop for the last few months, so they're all normalized. I'll just speed this up. You guys don't need to watch me do all the boring measuring. See you guys in a minute. All right, I'm just gonna put these out here on the recycling bin. You can see there's frost on top of it. We're gonna let those cool off for probably a couple hours. We're gonna come back here, put those in the toaster oven. Got her set to 200 Fahrenheit there. All right, it's been a little over half hour. It's 8:36, right around half an hour. I'm just gonna check on the heated ones. 195, yeah, we're basically, 200. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll pull those out one at a time and I'll measure them. And hopefully by the time that we're done that, an hour will have passed, and I'll go check the ones outside. Oh, and the outside ones, in case you're wondering, it's about minus 10 Celsius today. It was minus 16 when I was coming down the mountain, so it's colder than what a freezer would be, so we're giving it the benefit of the doubt. All right, so let's have a look at this. I've learned some things and I've made some mistakes. The 6328, the difference was huge. I did not expect that. It was 0.0042, or just over 4 thou. That's massive. Now, that is the biggest bearing, and it has the most meat. The walls and races are significantly bigger than the next size down. Now this here is why I did multiples. There are variables, but let's try to get a trend here. The 6206, 1.9 thou, which is much more in line with what I expected. So in millimeters, I got the millimeters difference here. So the difference between cold and hot was 0.106 millimeters. The difference on the 6206 was 0.048 millimeters, or just shy of 2 thou. And then on the smaller bearing, the 62/22, the difference was 1.6 thou. So as the bearings get smaller, the difference becomes smaller. Obviously, there's less material. Like I say, I'm still a little bit suspicious of that 4 thou number, but there are plenty of people that know more about this than I do. I'm just doing some active testing, so if you got ideas about this, let me know. I'm all ears. So the difference on this bearing, 0.040 millimeters. Now, this here, this was definitely a mistake. I realized after, this is just a piece of generic tubing and it's not gonna be accurate. And I should have thought of this earlier. I can actually see where I held it in the lathe. So this piece is not uniform. I'm gonna throw this out, not gonna take that measurement, but what I am gonna do is grab a case for you guys and we'll measure it. We'll do that at the end. Actually, you know what? We're gonna measure this right meow, and we can let it heat up while we go get the cold stuff. So the case, when cold, there we go, 2.9895 inches, freedom units. Now let's see if we can fit this thing in the toaster oven. I don't know if we can. If we can't, then I'll just heat it up with a torch, and that's fine, because that's what we usually do anyway. No, it's not gonna fit. So that's a more real life test anyway. Ultimately, that's what it's about. It's about practicality, like what is it like in real life? So we got 19 Fahrenheit. I'd say that's adequate. Okay, so let's talk about these numbers here. I have not thought about these ahead of time. We're just gonna go through them and you're gonna hear what my thoughts are totally live. I'm learning along with you guys. So the 6328, again, I was very surprised what happened with it. It was a little over 4 thou, and I suspect that there may be some variables there, but that's why we did a whole bunch of them. So the difference is 4 thou, or 0.106 millimeters. 6232, which is slightly smaller than the 6328, we froze it. It's cold. It was 19 Fahrenheit, I believe it was. Just over 1 thou smaller. I'm actually surprised by that as well. I did not expect to get over 1 thou shrinkage on that 6232 bearing. That is significant. In metric, that is 0.027. A significant number. I apologize, I don't think in metric numbers in this case. If my numbers sound a little awkward, it's because this number really doesn't mean anything intuitively to me. Now, the 6206, we had a number that I expected, just shy of 2 thou, or 0.048 millimeters. The 6304 is very similar in size to the 6222. So these two are quite comparable. So we froze the 6304 and we had a difference of 1 thou. Very consistent with the 6232, or 0.002 millimeters. That's significant. The 6222, we heated it and we have a difference of just over 1.5 thou, 1.6 thou. Again, very similar to this one here. Metric numbers, 0.040 is what it grew. So these two are very similar. We got a little bit more growth out of this one than shrinkage on this one. But if we added them together, I mean, we'd almost be doubling our difference. Now, 6304, again, we froze this one. Our difference was 0.0009. Like, the measurements are pretty consistent. We're definitely seeing a pattern here. Now, let's do this. Let's see what we got here. So I got my case number right here, ambient temperature, 61 Fahrenheit or 16 degrees Celsius. 15, just shy of 16. Let me grab my torch. I'm gonna heat this to about 200 Fahrenheit. Now, when you're heating something like this, the temperature varies quite a bit, but I'm gonna try and make it as even as possible, and we'll get a practical real-life measurement. Oh man, look at that, pretty close. A little shy on that side. Now, those of you that know metal know that aluminum moves heat really quickly, so it is very difficult to get it very consistent because you have different thicknesses, but we are very close right there. Bottom line is that I would definitely drop a bearing into that. Just see, okay, so it's definitely, it's definitely bigger. Moment of truth. All right, difference of 0.056, so 5.6 thou. Wow, sorry for you metric guys. 0.142, I don't know how far you want to go, but this is by far the biggest difference. That moved 5 thou. That's more than 2 human hairs. That's huge. So the cold definitely did a little bit less than the heat, but not as big a difference as I would expect. It was just like 1/2 to 1 thou. So freezing it versus heating it, heating is a little bit more effective. Freezing it is definitely also effective. I think what we can draw from this, because the case moved a little, it's 5.5 thou, which is, man, it's huge, and 0.1422 millimeters. And so what I'm gonna say is that my conclusion is it's not so much the difference between heating versus freezing, although there is a small difference there. The bigger difference is the aluminum versus the steel bearings. Also, I think it's fair to say that the mass of the case, because it's so big and there's so much aluminum and it can absorb so much heat, it's really moving a lot. So my hypothesis was somewhat correct. The heat does make a bigger difference than freezing it, but I was surprised to find out how much freezing it actually makes a difference. And I was definitely surprised at how much the aluminum moved. I expected it to move something like 2 thou, and over 5.5 thou, that's huge. And I knew it as soon as I stuck that snap gauge in there, I could feel the wiggle back and forth, and 5.5 thou, that's a lot. So I'm definitely not going to be changing the way that I do it. I'm not going to be freezing stuff because 5.5 thou is plenty enough. It's way enough to get bearings into the case. You definitely don't need more than that. So freezing is absolutely a waste of time. However, there are certain cases where you want as much of a window as possible, and in those cases, I will consider freezing. And I'm happy to know that freezing it does actually make a significant difference. But I am confident in saying that freezing bearings to go into a case is absolutely a waste of time, and freezing the crank to go into the bearing is also a waste of time. I'll just heat my cases the way I've been doing. It works great.